Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, as Crimsix gets 1v4'd by old nemesis Huke into Money 8s last night. Censor claim that he's never lost a grand finals in his history as a Call of Duty professional has seemingly been exposed, with Crimsix saying that actually he did beat him back in 2014 at one particular event. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy the video. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'll greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Firstly, got to discuss a bit more on Neptune because, well, they replied to this tweet, the flank. Of course, since deleted, but you know how it is, like, I always say this type of stuff. This is what he said at the time. People are built different. So kind of interesting because, of course, Crim yesterday was going on that bit of a rampage, talking about Neptune and kind of felt like the fact that no one on his team wanted him, or like no one in the league wants him effectively, and it was the kind of classic Crimsix situation. We've kind of seen it last year a little bit with Huke 1v4s, and then this year with Neptune, but probably a slightly different story there, to be honest, with kind of the friction that seems to be there between the personalities. Whereas last year, like, Crim versus Huke wasn't necessarily a personality thing, it was kind of like a performance thing. This year, it definitely seems like the personality clashes are very much there. In fairness, there was some clashes really personality-wise, I guess, last year with Huke, but it seemed to be a slightly different situation, but I guess Crimsix is the common denominator at the end of the day. But yeah, this is Neptune's response since deleted. Wonder if we'll see any more on this in the coming days, because rather spicy last few days, there's been no doubt about it. Wanted to mention this real quick, because of course, well, unlucky that Censor's and Clayster's team didn't make it and didn't qualify for the Stage 3 Elite, given that they had to, Johnny had to get subbed out for Clayster. Unfortunate situation. These are the teams that did qualify, though. Prestinni and Co, Ultra North American Academy, Neptune's team makes it, Brack, Prolute, and 2 Real, like, well, Venom and Co, Assault on the boys. You guys can check this out on stream. Kaiser, Mind, Crypt, these are kind of like the old Stallions team, effectively. They aren't really called that anymore, but yeah, pretty cool to see these guys back in business once again. In Europe, it's these guys, Journey's team, of course, Raffi and Co, and then, as you might well expect, Team War, Ultra Europe, and the Rokkr Academy as well. So certainly a lot of the teams that we're going to be seeing relatively soon. Pretty sure the StrikeX team, actually, I guess they didn't make it, right? If they were still playing, I guess they're playing together. That's Cellium, Fire, and the boys that are going to be in FaZe's group this upcoming, weekend of the Prime Classic. So maybe it won't work out too well for them if they can't even qualify for the Elite, but maybe they're just straight up land demons, right? Which is also a possibility. This also from Slasher real quick, just thought it was quite interesting to mention because Los Angeles Guerrillas, there's been plenty of talk. What are they going to do going forwards? Can they possibly keep up this level where they can win events? Like, can they be a top 4, top 3 team for the rest of the game consistently? Now, of course, their Search and Destroy was really what got them over the line at the Major, right? The 10 in a row, like an unprecedented streak in that lower bracket to win the entire thing. And still their hardpoint and control probably had more to be working on, right? And that's as Slasher says right here. I'd say the main things we are focusing on are our hardpoint right now and our new map mode and the new map mode combination that is Berlin control. If we can improve hardpoint while continuing our Search and Destroy dominance, then we will contend for more championships, right? So that's kind of the key. Like, they're not going to win 100% of Search and Destroys, but if they can still win like 70% or something, and they can get their hardpoint up to like a 60%, then, still, they're certainly going to be, well, a dominant force in the league. And I wonder how well they'll compare to, for example, Toronto Ultra last year that won the Stage 2 Major in kind of, fluke miracles type circumstances that some would certainly say, and still went on to be a top 2 team for the rest of the game, right? So, not sure Los Angeles Guerrillas will quite live up to that, but it's certainly not something you can absolutely rule out 100% guaranteed. Now, speaking of Slasher, him and, well, some other guys been certainly playing some Money 8s the last few days. I don't know if it's actually Money 8s or if they really allowed it to be Money 8s, because I remember back in Modern Warfare, when the CDL first came in, the kind of idea was, I think, that the pros aren't allowed to, like, play Money 8s and stuff, because it's considered, the league doesn't want them to, like, gamble or something. Not sure what was going on. Back in the day, it was always Money 8s. You put up, like, $20 each, there'd be a prize pool, and then, whoever would win would take home the prize pool, which used to be pretty good fun. Now, nowadays, I don't know if they're technically Money 8s or 8s or whatever the pros say they are. Bit of a strange grey area, to be honest. But they've been playing some Search and Destroy 8s, let's just say. Get 8 pros in a lobby, get, 2 captains, they choose the teams. Always a good time, good Search and Destroy practice. Good to actually see this going on, to be perfectly honest, because it's been quite some time. Like, last year, there was an awful lot of talk, especially towards the end of the year, that, like, these pros, what are they doing? We're here, like, Champs is around the corner, Stage 5's around the corner. This is, like, where the money's to be made. And a lot of the pros are just like, yeah, I don't really want to play 8s, to be honest. I'll just sit back and relax. Now, some pros, the likes of Scump and stuff, have said, look, it actually gives you bad tendencies, but, maybe that's true to some degree, but in Search and Destroy, maybe not so much of a big deal. But it's good to see it back in business the last few days. And Shotzi was streaming last night. He actually had Huke on his team, and will come point out an unbelievable clip here that, well, I just have to go and find to share for you guys, because Huke is in a 1 versus 4 situation. Shotzi tells him, like, look, if you clutch this 1 versus 4 against Crimsix and Co, I think it was Crim, Spart, and there was, like, Gravity on the other team as well. You guys can see the clip here in a second. But those are kind of the teams, and Shotzi's like, look, Huke, if you clutch this, I'll give you 100 gifted. Then he gets the first kill on Crimsix, who went on to say, like, in his kind of response to the situation, like, well, look, I got closest to killing him, lads. Like, I wasn't the one making the mistake in this situation. And Shotzi, after he gets the first kill, is like, okay, only 50 gifted, and then he goes on to win the entire thing.
1v4, I literally give you 100 gifted. Alright, 50.
B's got an enemy bomb on it.
That is near bomb.
I'm gonna have to win some big gunnies.
Go on, Tom. Oh my god.
Yo, wait.
Oh my god.
Wait. Alright, hold on. Listen, I didn't say for sure.
Alright, let's get this round right here. Let's get this round right here.
I just know Porter's tweaking right now, bro. That's what I'm crying.
Let's go mid.
He's mid. Never mind. Yeah, bottom church.
Yeah, short door, back church.
Setting the bomb.
He's weak. One shot grass door going.
Bomb is set.
Yeah, just play together. I don't know what he's on.
I'm top player right now.
Just play close.
Is he radio steps?
I hear mantling and Fugaze.
That was me. I got you P5 flank.
Someone might want to check bomb, dude. Bike.
Rails. Or elbow. He's here still? Oh. He's challenging me.
Wow.
Oh my god, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Oh no.
Where'd you go?
No. The biggest mistake was why did I bomb?
So kind of funny how that worked out really with like Huke and Crimsix after all that went on between them last year, finding themselves 1 versus 4. Crim gets 1v4'd, Huke finishes off the job. But this is the other side of the discussion. We looked at this a few days ago, like Crim's kind of career in general. The numbers here are absolutely absurd. Of course, this KD is just for the CDL era. I imagine looking back at it, all the other events would have been very challenging to do and maybe not possible to do because I think some of the Black Ops 3 stats are just completely gone, which is very unfortunate. But well, this is what Ike says in the reply. Head-to-head, he reckons, so like, okay, what's the head-to-head Crimsix versus X all time? And Crim says the only head-to-head that I know is that I'm 1-in-1 against Doug Censor Martin in the grand finals. Only stat that truly measures greatness, right? So that's the thing, like Doug Censor Martin, he's always had this thing the last few years, okay, I've never lost a grand final, get me to a finals, I'm gonna win it. And Crim saying, okay, well, I actually did beat him at a grand finals back in the day. So like, you know, what's exactly going on here, right? So there's some further discussion on the matter, as a Doug then says it's either 2-1 me or 2-0 me, no in between. So we're saying, okay, maybe the one victory you did have against me does count, maybe it doesn't count, but either way, like, you know, I'm certainly still got the favourable record against you in grand finals. So I guess Doug's trying to keep up the idea that he's got a favourable record against every single person in grand finals. And that's kind of been his stick really for the last couple of years. Like, you know, you sub him into a team, if you put them in the grand finals, he's going to win it. Which, you know, we'll see if that's actually the case or not. So Jacob is then kind of wading into this and saying, well, actually, hang on a second here. There was this event in Ghost Stage 1 playoffs between you and Crimsix that he actually did beat them in the grand finals. And, well, as X is saying, oh, look, he never lost, right? Confirm it, sense of what's going on. 1-in-1, how's that even possible? Doug's never lost a grand finals. And Brandon's saying it was actually that Ghost Season 1 event. And other than that, though, yes, Doug is 2-1 versus Crim in finals. And as Ake says, that's true. Smoked him, Jacob. Doug is officially 4-1. And then Jacob kind of wades in. So Doug's been lying to us all these years, and we just let him rock. And then Doug kind of explains why he lost that event. We're going to counter an event I played with the pickup team when I was already on FaZe. I thought you preached no excuses. Really funny stuff. Let's actually look at the kind of the reality of the situation. Bloody hell, that is zoomed in a little bit too much after the Neptune thing earlier on. But okay, here we go. This is all Doug's events, kind of, well, through his victories, let's just say. The most recent one, actually, I'm pretty sure it's the most recent one, is the Black Ops 3 Global Esports reveal, which is actually cool when they used to do that back in the day. Kind of funny that even then it was like a 4 versus 4 situation, and it's Doug's teams that wins it, so you got to give credit where it is due. Put him in a grand finals, he gets the job done. Pretty much always, apart from this one. So you can see his first LAN event, he wins National Championships 2011, then he get, well, the US Regional Final. This is rather interesting, because there's no prize pool for this event. The only prize pool that you actually got here, I guess, was seeding for the World Championship. Like, by winning this, strictly business, got the number 1 seeds. But as Crim's going to say, like, there was no difference between coming first and coming 8th in this tournament. But at the same time, there was still a grand finals. He played, I guess, Complexity at the time as it was, Crimsix and co, and then beat them. However, the Season 1 playoffs a couple of weeks later, like in the middle of April, they actually lost that in the grand finals 3-2 to Complexity and Crimsix as he was on the team at the time. And more recently than then, at the Columbus Open 2014, that was when FaZe did beat Optic as it was at the time in the grand finals of that event as well. So like, yes, out of these 3 events, Doug has won the grand finals against Crimsix 2 times, and Crim's won it 1 time. But, you know, Crim's kind of saying, look, this first event doesn't really count, because that was just like a qualification for champs, effectively. Like, it shouldn't really count as the grand finals. But then Doug's saying, actually, this event doesn't really count, because he was apparently already going to FaZe at this point. So, despite the fact that he calls this a pickup team, Doug, aBeZy, Saints, and Dido, they did play with this team at champs, right? So it's hardly a pickup team in that sense. But at the same time, Doug was probably already moving on at this point to FaZe and already got signed and everything was kind of getting ready to go there. So probably this team wasn't fully fledged. It's an interesting situation. But yeah, this was the grand finals where, you know, as you can see, this event right here, Stage 1 playoffs back in Call of Duty Ghost, where Strictly Business did lose 3-2 in the grand finals to Complexity and Crimsix, of course. Still, in fairness, a pretty impressive battle they put up here in the grand finals, given it was Complexity at the time, the kind of most dominant force we've ever seen in Call of Duty history. But, you know, still, it must be said that at the end of the day, there is a situation now where Doug St. Martin has lost the grand finals. And all this shtick we've been seeing the last couple of years, Doug's undefeated in grand finals, turns out that that's not actually fully the case. And, of course, Jake Out's basically saying, look, he's been lying to us all these years about this situation, right? And Crim's kind of saying, well, look, actually, he's trying to, you know, make the case that he's not down in grand finals record against Doug. Because, look, even if Doug has lost to grand finals, which obviously he has, just based on the pure numbers and the stats of the situation, he still wants to kind of maintain the idea that he's got a positive record against Crim and other guys in the grand finals, which is true when you count all the events as well. But Crim doesn't want to kind of give up that easily. He says, you know, Pat, look, this guy is counting the champs qualifier for Ghost with a prize of only a numbered seed for champs as a win for head-to-head. You can't count a competitive event, tournament, or qualifier as an event win if you get the same prize as 8th. They'd both match up in winners round 2, for example. So rather interesting, to be honest. Like, you know, what do you think? Because, of course, it comes up as a number 1 on the record right here. Like, okay, he won the US regional final, which is kind of true, which I guess, you know, US champion in a way. But there was no prize pool, so does it really count as an event win? I'd say it probably does. I'm pretty sure it was on LAN anyway, so like, I think it probably counts. But, you know, we'll have to give Doug St. Martin that one, to be honest. This also was kind of funny, actually, here, just from Crim, because, of course, like, there was some comments about, okay, well, how's Crim dropping a 0.96, but he's still got all these good numbers? Of course, this is CDLKT. As Crim goes, you know, these guys thinking up Harry Potter from the Hogwarts School of Magic and Wizardry. I think, is it the Witchcraft and Wizardry or whatever? But anyway, I'll let him off this one. To pull off those overall stats with that low of a KD. And, you know, the Myth says, right, so Myth versus Crimsix, that was kind of the thing they wanted to have a back and forth last year after the whole, like, controller versus keyboard debate. I'm pretty sure Myth said that, like, he wasn't considered any controller player in, like, his top 10, you know, esports players of all time. Crim was not too happy about that one. And, you know, they're kind of still getting ready to go. Maybe at some point or another that will indeed happen. But just wanted to finish out with this as well. An incredible clip here from, well, the Saint points out. I know that Havoc was saying this as well. I believe that Havoc was playing here on Nubsy's account. So maybe Nubsy is just completely cursed. But, like, this is Nubsy's account, but it's actually Havoc on his account. They're scrimming Seattle Surge in the scrim, as you guys can see here on the left-hand side. And look at the amount of shots that quote-unquote Nubsy, or, well, it's actually Havoc puts in. So he's already landed 1 shot, probably 2 at this point. Look at the amount of hit markers. That's 2. That's, you know, like, at the very minimum, that was already 2 hit markers. It might already be more. Then he gets, okay, the 3rd one's hit, then the 4th one, the 5th one, like, 6th one, 7th one. I don't know, like, how is he still hitting him? I don't understand. I don't understand how some of those shots didn't hit. Maybe it's Bloom to a degree. But, yeah, this is probably one of the craziest things I've seen accuracy manage to survive in Call of Duty, because it feels like he got way more hit markers than should have been required to kill him. But, you know, that's just Call of Duty Vanguard, baby. Maybe one of them went through the barrel or something, and that kind of costed him. Still crazy stuff. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hitting the like button tells your YouTube gods this is a good video. I just like you should see it as well. And outgrow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you guys, as always. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.